And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking Rally Poland and asking, could Rally Poland be axed simply because of the way a small, and it is a very small amount of spectators, behaved, cancelling some of those stages? So, Rally Poland, the WRC crews have reacted to it as well. This was during the rally. 3 of Friday's 7 stages were impacted by what people have described as fans' behaviour. And the WRC is hoping for better across the weekend. And this was written on the Friday by Dirtfish. And I wanted to write it. I wanted to read this article, look at this article before we get into their other article about whether Poland does indeed have a future. Now, officials in the WRC are pleading with fans in Poland to stay safe and not cause any further stage cancellations after what's been described as a significant interruption due to crowd controls issues. Now, even before the event was underway, the shakedown stage had to be paused, for goodness sake, due to the high number of spectators gathering. Stage 3 and Stage 7 were lost to virtually all crews, while SS6 was interrupted while the police worked with the FIA and officials and volunteers to ensure the road was clear of fans. Now, the upshot is that much of the field has competed across just 54 miles instead of 71. That's there's a pretty major difference. Evans sits just 2 seconds off the lead. This was Friday night. Still, the Welshman is frustrated at what he sees as a lack of progress from the event. 7 years after it was removed from the championship for failing to reach the FIA's safety protocols. Let me repeat that. 7 years after it was removed from the championship for failing to reach the FIA's required safety protocols. He told Dirtfish the stages are not thrown out for fun. It's a pretty serious thing cancelling a stage, but they also have a responsibility to us and everybody watching. The hands of the people making the decisions are tied, but it's just a shame. It's the same 6 years later. Hyundai's WRC manager, Christian, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his last name. He said some countries are different and it's different to control the people. I think if the case is like that, then you should know it in advance and put more police to really try and control the crowd. The Belgian was quick to add that he fully supported the decisions taken. They were right because you can't put people at risk. Completely agree. I mean, if they're going to be really silly, that's one of the other issues. But you can't put people at risk. It will create absolutely horrible headlines, which you don't want for motorsport. It's not good at all. Mickelson said, I think it's the right decision to educate them, but the difficult bit is that it was like in the past, so when you came back, you expect all the effort is going to be made to solve it. The issue is it's happened before, and it's happened a lot before. The organisers, she told Dirtfish, this was the WRC Commission President, Pernilla Solberg. He said they do an amazing job and they have all the marshals and police to help them. And then there are just a few spectators that don't want to listen. And it only takes one, doesn't it? It only takes one. And I know the work that Michel Mouton, the FIA safety delegate, puts in, trying to make sure there's safety for the crews and for the spectators. Solberg led the calls for that minority of fans to understand the impact of their actions, adding, I really, really hope now we can make a joint effort to really send this message across. It's just not good enough, is it, for Poland? And as a result, people are thinking 7 years ago, the other article starts about whether Poland has a future in the WRC. Flew out of Warsaw 7 years ago for what most thought would be the final time. No way Rally Poland would or could be back at the sport's highest level. But they were back in business last week. And by mid-morning Saturday, heads were in hands, he said. Seemingly nothing changed, shakedown interrupted, then 4 of the first 9 stages either stopped or completely stopped. And fortunately, the situation improved for the rest of the event while the competition proceeded on eggshells. It did at least proceed. And as he laid out in his discussion with Dirtfish, talking to Jaroslaw Nora, well, I need to get my pronunciation right, but he's the chairman of Rally Poland. He feels he did all he could to plan for this influx of spectators. Ultimately, the loss of stages in the first half of the rally would indicate the event infrastructure. Well, it came short, it didn't work. They laid on bigger spectator areas, more expertise, more marshals, more of everything, but it still wasn't enough. As I said, it only takes 1 or 2 people to ruin it for everyone. And as fan and Dirtfish friend Matats Zaremba, sorry about the pronunciation, he told us from the side of the stage he'd never seen as many fans in his native Poland. It's fantastic that the fans are there. All of them are passionate. It's great. It's just the few not... I've watched this rally, he said, for every year, and I have to say the number of fans is double what we see for the European Rally Championship rounds. In ERC years, it's really only the home fans who are coming here, but for WRC we see so many more Polish people than all the spectators are coming from Latvia, Lithuania, Czech Republic. Everybody wants to see these Rally 1 cars. So who was to blame? There are plenty to read to point a finger to in the direction of the WRC promoter. And certainly it was the WRCP decision which granted Poland a first World Championship return after a troubled past. And of course, WRC promoter did so for commercial benefit. It's in the business of rallying. The event director, Simon Larkin, offered the following. He said, I think everybody is disappointed. Any of us who are watching the TV will see that there are lots of fans out there and 99% of them are having a great time. This is exactly what we said. Unfortunately, there's a really small 1% who seem to want to risk their lives and those of other people a bit too much, and they are not following the police's directions. It's unusual, he said. The safety efforts in WRC have moved on so much since we were last here in 2017, but there's still that 1%, and it's extremely frustrating for everyone. But I don't want it to overwhelm the element of success. We're just struggling with that 1%, and it's disappointing. Of course, Larkin didn't want to overwhelm the other aspects of the event. This isn't about throwing the promoter under the bus, he said. Larkin and his colleagues have demonstrated a greater desire and ability to deliver positive changes to the WRC than for a very long time. And ultimately, the promoter's plans still have to be signed off by the FIA. So there's going to have to be some kind of safety plan. What are they going to do? As we heard, Larkin felt was 1%. M Sport team principal Richard Milner thought around 5%. And other people think it was 10% of the fans. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And what was the problem? I was spectating first in the morning in 2017. Deliberately, I went to one of the biggest spectator venues. This is in 2017. And was directed by a farmer on a tractor towards the top of the field. On foot, all fans were directed through the gate, a wide open section with plenty of safe viewing on offer. Granted, we weren't by any means right at the side of the road, but this wider global view was good for thousands of us. To the right, there was a small section of woodland. The trees were taped off, with a handful of marshals keeping people out. As soon as the 0 cars had gone by, a small group of fans headed out of the field toward the trees. Ridiculously, I wondered if they'd just come to see Polish rallying royalty driving a course car. Not a bit of it. They were heading for the woods. The marshals tried to redirect him, but there wasn't hope. They were ignored. The tape broken and fans did their own thing. See, you can't, as a fan, you can't. Motorsport is dangerous. We know that because, unfortunately, the person that had that OJ crash, I read an article that they've potentially passed away, which is absolutely horrifying. Which shows you that motorsport is dangerous, and these people did not do anything wrong. It's just that's what I've read. I hope I'm wrong. Let me quickly have a look if it's anywhere. M Sport urges calm after I'm struggling to find it now. Is it going to be in a Rally Journal? Because I read a piece saying that they'd passed away. I really hope that's not the case. But they were released from hospital and they weren't sure whether it was a result of the fact that they were rally crash OGA Poland. Okay. Yes, it says here, 69-year-old man died after head-on crash last week with Rally. So it makes to think. So yeah, I think he got released from hospital, this poor Polish man, and then passed away after being released. So I imagine there's going to be an autopsy to find out. But anyway, I digress. That's enough of my mumbles. But I watch. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It's the few ruining it for the many. So, I mean, the most Polish, it's going on the article, Polish fans absolutely love Rally. They're obsessed with Rally. Absolutely, it's fantastic that we've got these fans. It's just the few. And I don't know if you can, issue football bans out for them or something, but something needs to be absolutely done. Oh, frustrating. Anyway, if you made it to the end of my rant, and once again, all our thoughts go out to the family of that 69-year-old. Which is really, really sad, and I can't imagine how their family feel. I can't imagine how OJ feels as well, if that's the case. But if you made it to the end, that'd be great. Thank you very much. I'm not going to do a subscribe or anything because that's sad news. But yeah, stay safe and try. Yeah, when you're at a rally, don't listen to the marshals. Please listen.